We haven't had a Star Wars movie in, I believe, 7 years at this point, and it might take a little bit longer than that. We've already got rumors that a much delayed Star Wars production is probably canceled. Another one that's actually being filmed right now is having an issue with the major development there. But we do have one, I guess, light at the end of the tunnel there, that there is finally something cool Star Wars did that people are talking about. Unfortunately, it's Lego related, and here talking about that is Aaron, not on camera because he's very under the weather.
Yes, I am very sick, but yes, I am here, and let's talk about Star Wars, the current state of Star Wars, so I can get even sicker.
It's once again rumored that the Rey Star Wars movie set to star Daisy Ridley and directed by Charmin Obaid-Chinoy is facing major trouble. This is at least the fourth time the new Jedi Order is delayed since its initial announcement. Daniel RPK claims the film needs more work and is on hold, and the movie is not expected to start filming until 2025 at the earliest. World of Real is also reporting there are a lot of problems with the film and that writer Stephen Knight is considering bailing on the project and even doesn't believe that the film will ever be made, which is something I contended from the very moment they announced it, Aaron, at Star Wars Celebration. I was like, this Rey movie will never see the light of day. If it ever gets made, it'll be on Disney Plus. It will never see theaters, and I'm not surprised to see more major interruptions for this terrible idea.
Yeah, no, I think we were all on that page. I think you and I had a long discussion about the fact that this is never happening. This is not going to happen. I desperately want it to. I love when Disney loses money on Star Wars. I love when they lose hundreds of millions of dollars on terrible Star Wars ideas. And I would love for them to go forward. I would love for them to spend, $500 million making this thing. Just like we now found out that they spent at least $230 million on the Acolyte and blew all that money. So I would love to see them do it, but looks like we're not getting it. What a surprise.
Well, I guess the big question that Kathlleen Kennedy and Bob Iger and Lucasfilm really has to ask when they look in the mirror is, how much money are we willing to spend to make men uncomfortable? Considering that's what the director of the film has already stated her purpose and goal of this stupid movie that will never be made was.
I'm so tired of these stupid women being placed in charge of things. There are so many talented women out there, but because they don't adhere to this stupid far-right feminist left-wing ideology, they haven't sold their soul to this ridiculous cult that they don't get the shot. They don't get the chance. And instead, so what we get is when we were having aficionados and we had that person come in the chat and said, I don't think that women should be involved in any of these things. And we were like, whoa, there are talented women. Unfortunately, they're just not the ones that get hired. Women get less opportunities to do things. And then when they do get opportunities, they hire the worst ones. So then those projects fail. And then they say, see, women can't do these things.
It does feel like the Leslie Headlands and the Kathleen Kennedys and the Charmaine Obaid-Chinoys of the world are setting feminism back at least 2 decades. All those gains, man, lost them all.
Yeah, I mean, everything's regressing right now. We are as a society in decline, and the further left we go, the more we decline. We need to return to I think what Chapek was trying to do, which and that's why he got ousted, is because he was trying to return Disney to kind of the sensible center where hey, we are an entertainment company, we make products for everybody. That's what we're interested in. We're not red, we're not blue, we're green.
They have set Disney back a lot, so they had to do something they thought was guaranteed to make money. And a new rumor claims that director Jon Favreau is planning to save Star Wars from Lucasfilm with the Mandalorian Grogu has hit a major snag. According to WDW Pro, Favreau's plans include the original trilogy heroes together as a cameo in the film. He then explained, surprisingly, Harrison Ford, we are told, does not like this whatsoever, this plan. They are already into filming. It was supposed to be CGI, so Ford's not really needed, but still has to sign off on it. And we're hearing word that he may not be a fan of putting the idea of the original characters together for some sort of CGI resurrection.
The sequel trilogy will go down in history as one of the most wasted opportunities of all time. Kathleen Kennedy is going to go down as as the worst studio head of all time. Bob Iger is going to go down as the worst CEO in Disney history, which, if he would have left when he left, if he wouldn't have had that ego, he wouldn't have had to try to hold on to that control and still want to be hobnobbing with all the Hollywood types, maybe going to those Diddy parties, who knows? If he hadn't had that ego and he had just stepped away, he would have had a legacy. And that's what's really important to these people. And that's why I love to see their legacy tarnished. They have destroyed everything built by better men. And now, for all time, they will be remembered as the colossal failures that they are.
Well, I guess there is some solace that they can take in the fact that Harrison Ford has already admitted, I do stupid shit for money sometimes. So there's likely a price tag that they can put on this cameo and CGIing together, obviously, the original three heroes, Luke, Leia, and Han. But they're going to have to up the ante and pay him a little bit more, apparently.
Yeah, he does stupid stuff for money, but, it's got to be the right amount of money. Love that he said that about playing Ross. That really put another great spin on the Captain America Brave New World, didn't it? Captain America without Captain America. He's like, this Hulk shit is garbage. Oh, I'm not trying to disparage it.
United Kingdom tax documents filed by the Walt Disney Company's UK branch revealed that Lucasfilm and the Walt Disney Company spent over 172 million British pounds, $231 US, on the production of The Acolyte. In an interview with Vanity Fair, The Acolyte series creator Leslie Headland publicly claimed that the show cost 180 million, which was assumed by several to be stated in US dollars. It is evident that if Headland had knowledge of the series' financials, that she was more likely referring to the amount in Great British pounds. So instead of losing $180 million on this stupid show that burned off and turned away even more of their Star Wars fans that they couldn't afford to lose, it was actually $230 million, an extra 50. They deserve it.
Yeah, they absolutely deserve it. I love it. I love hearing that they lost this money, and then they probably put another 80 million into marketing. So what did they dump? $300 million into this turkey that didn't put a single new butt in the seat as far as Disney Plus was concerned.
But it was new content.
Yeah, new content. That's what that's what's important, right?
Yeah, that's why we're getting Agatha Harkness. That's why we're still getting the the Ironheart show. That's why we're getting Wonder Man. Content. Doesn't matter if it's good.
Corporatization is the death of any creative endeavor. It's the death of any IP. As soon as it gets sold to a big company like Disney, what have they ever acquired that they haven't run into the ground? Now, Pixar had a good run because you had John Lasseter still there, and then John Lasseter moved up into Disney, and that's when Pixar and Disney Animation was having like this revival and this really good run because it was based on the back of one genius who basically created Pixar. And, then it was sold to Disney, but he was still in control of it. As soon as he was gone and they handed it to Pete Docter and Jennifer Lee, look what happened.
They really made Marvel special. It never, it had worked in movies. You had X-Men, you had the Blade movie. Fantastic Four, at least the first one, made some money. But they really blew it up and they made it something special there for, I don't know, about, what was it, 9 years?
Well, because they bought a plan that was already in place. And remember, Ike Perlmutter, who was, who owned all that, was still involved. And now we've kind of traced it to, and not every idea that Ike Perlmutter had was a good one, like, him not wanting to do a Black Widow movie or him not thinking that a Black Panther movie could do well. Those were obviously biases and that proved wrong. But as soon as he was out of the picture and Feige no longer had anybody kind of controlling his purse strings, that's when all this stuff ballooned out, and we had a few more years of them finishing the plan that paid off. But as soon as we got to the new plan and they had to kick James Gunn to the curb because they all of a sudden got nervous about some tweets that he had, when in fact so many of their talent and their executives seems to have been involved in far worse things than a few tweets. They kicked James Gunn to the curb, and then they had no plan for phases 4 and 5. And look what we've gotten. We've gotten a completely muddled mess of hot garbage that I don't know that they can recover from.
Well, I think there's something that's going to bring you back to Disney, Star Wars, and it starts today. The biggest Star Wars surprise of the year is Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy, and it's absolutely worth watching, according to this website. The series explores a massive alternate scenario. What if everything fans knew about Star Wars was different? This includes wild ideas of Jedi Vader, General Akbar clone troopers, Beach Bum Luke Skywalker, Darth Rey, and more. The most insane addition is how Lucasfilm allowed the project to include a fully realized Darth Jar Jar Binks, the subject of countless memes, is now a reality. Tell me you don't want to watch that.
I don't want to watch that.
Oh, come on, Aaron.
Why would I want to watch that? Of course Disney allowed it. They don't have any respect for the IP. They've shown that with everything that they've put out. They don't have any respect for George Lucas's vision. They don't have any respect for his universe or the things that he created. It's all to be commodified. So, yeah, of course you're going to get this. And, everything you knew is wrong. What if everything's wacky? I'm sure it'll be fun. I'm sure it'll be funny. I just don't care. I don't like Star Wars anymore. I don't like anything about it anymore. They've completely ruined it for me. I just don't care. I don't want to look at it.
The worst thing about this is Star Wars was one of the few bigger franchises that hadn't been swallowed up by the idea of multiverses, which is exactly what this is. And I fucking hate multiverses. If I never see a multiverse again in my life, as a consumer, I will be happy because I hate them so much at this point.
Yeah, I do too. It's one of the reasons that I'm so psyched to be working on my own book because one of the main rules of this universe, of the Kneel Before Doomface universe, is no multiverse.
What about we include something called the Yin Yang verse, where the good guys become bad and the bad guys become good? It's not really a multiverse. It's just a new spin, but it happens in another universe.
That's a multiverse. Not doing it. It used to be cool when you would, you'd have an issue of Excalibur where, or they had the cross time caper, which was fun because it was self-contained and it was tongue in cheek and it didn't really affect or invade the regular 616. Or you had the issues where we got the alternate universe version of Excalibur where the Germans had won the war. Captain Britain, they were all Nazis, basically.
I get what you're saying. The crime syndicate on Earth 3 is an awesome idea. It is really, really cool. But, we get so much multiverse stuff nowadays. It doesn't become fun at some point. In fact, I'm watching through Star Trek Enterprise. I'd never seen that before. I'm on the final season, and I see an episode called A Mirror Darkly or something like that. I was like, is this fucking Mirror Universe? And I looked it up, and it was, and I just skipped right through it. I was like, I don't even fucking care at this point.
And that was fun. I mean, the most fun thing about the Mirror Universe in the original Star Trek was George Takei thinking that he could play gutsy, sexy, and dangerous, which was always an opportunity for high hilarity. What a clown.
He's another guy that did not age well. Just the way he portrays himself. He's just gone completely insane.
I mean, that's the bubble, right? You got to be out amongst regular people. You can't. I always just go back to what Ricky Gervais said. It's you have no room to lecture anybody on anything. You have no idea how the real world works, and he's absolutely right. I see it by people who I know who came from normal backgrounds, and they get into Hollywood for a little while, and all of a sudden, all of their values change, and everything about them they just adapt. And they sell themselves out. They sell little pieces of themselves away to procure things faster, and it just leaves them empty. That's what Hollywood does.
Well, we're about to get into that, into the further exploits of the Geek Picks, because we're going to talk about all the Diddy drama. But before we get there, we do need to wrap up this Lego Star Wars. I do have 3 little kids, and there's a chance that maybe they would enjoy this, but it's not something I'm going to put on, even if people say it's good, because it's not even real Star Wars, so why would I care?
Well, there's also rumors that Lego is trying to divest itself of the Star Wars license. It's just not worth the royalties anymore. The sales are not there anymore for this stuff. And same with Hasbro. Hasbro might be looking to divest themselves of the Star Wars license because it's no longer a license to print money. It's a license to lose money. Lucasfilm gets to dictate what you get to put out. So therefore, you have to put out so much of Kathleen Kennedy's garbage. You have to put out figures for the Acolyte, of course. Well, guess what? Hasbro's going to take a bath on those. Stores don't really order them. They just all end up getting dumped to Ollie's for pennies on the dollar. And so Hasbro loses more money. But once you get to a point where people like me who used to buy everything, I mean, I used to buy multiples of figures, Wes, so that I could paint them and change them up. I could do entire little other Clone Trooper units that were of my own design. I used to spend a lot of money on this stuff. And they've lost all that. They lost all that chasing the modern audience. Well, good. I'm glad that you lost all of the money that I used to spend for no money from a couple of weirdos that want to flick the bean to, Darth Slipknot and Rick James hair. I can't even remember the character names.
I think it's Osha and May.
Well, those are the twins, right? Who's the what was it? Quim is the other guy?
I have no idea. I stopped watching at issue 5 when we reviewed it through there, and they never mentioned his name before. Wait, no, they did, because he was acting like he was her accomplice or something.
Right. Yeah, he was the bungling guy. Quimir or something like that. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. None of this matters. It's all Apocrypha.
If you would like some more of this, because Aaron and I do have another 2 hours to go talking not only about Star Wars, but we are going to get into the Diddy drama. We're going to get into the Red One trailer. We got a lot of weird stuff to talk about this week. There's a link in the video description to the Patreon. This is part of the Geek Fix, which is available in full there.